Morning, Monday, October 28th, 2024. I'm Larissa. Oh, my video diary. Ooh, look at that. Look at that little curly thing. Oh, beautiful. Oh, morning, fat girl. Morning, fat girl, fat girl. It's time. Time has come to drink some skulls. So, yesterday, Omar and I he went grocery shopping with me. Mhm. Yeah, yesterday he went grocery shopping with me. It's nice when he goes with me because especially on days like yesterday when it's like there's a lot of stuff that needs to be carried in and everything. Yeah. Yeah. Also, people aren't I have less instances of people being rude to me when he's with me. Yeah, I do. But, you know, that's a that's a societal bullying to make women try to make me, not go out without him, right? That's crazy, huh? Yeah. Anyway. Yeah. I was telling him, so we went to a grocery store that I don't go to very often. I used to go to it all the time. It's a local locally owned grocery store. I used to go to all the time, and then I quit going there because staff started to be really fucking rude. And um, I go back there because when I do go back there because they have like really good bulk section, bulk grains, bulk herbs, bulk snacks. They have a really great bulk section. And they have a very, very extensive holistic body care section. Um, anyway, things. So we went there yesterday, but I quit going. I quit going there, and then I quit going there like ever really wanting to even go in there for that, because there was this one day. Um, I went in to buy herbs, and when I got there, there was an unhoused person sitting out in front. It's not unusual on this particular corner in this particular neighborhood. And there were two of the produce stalkers that were taunting this man. It was a young man. He was like younger than me. I'm not young. 46. I'm not young. This guy was probably in his 20s. And um I could tell that the guy had some issues beyond being unhoused, but he wasn't bothering anybody. And he wasn't even talking to himself or anything. He was just kind of sitting there. And these two guys were just being really cruel to him. It was unnecessary. And beyond being unnecessary, it was dangerous because it's like, okay, you have no idea what this guy's capable of. And I'm watching this. And I went in to the store and got what I needed and got up into the checkout counter. And this by the time it didn't take me long because I was going there to get a couple of very specific herbs and go home. And um get up to the counter, and there's this woman who's there a lot of the time, and I've spoken with her before. And anyway, this unhoused person, young person, comes in, and he's like screaming, and she gets in his face, and the guy says, "I'm gonna kill you," right? That's what he says to her, and she's, "Oh, you're gonna kill me? No, I'm gonna call the police." And they call the police. Blah 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 blah. So this is happening, and there's like two people ahead of me in line. And then I get up to the counter and I make comment to her. I said that, but by the time I get up there, the police are there and they're taking care of it. And I said to her, I said, there are other ways of taking care of such problems. I said, you had those two produce guys egged him on. And she got all, she's like, she flipped out. She's like, "Oh no. Oh no, you don't." And she's like, "Let me tell you, sweetie." And I was just like, no, 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 sweetie. So the issue was that she put everybody in that store in danger. She and these other two staff members put everybody in the store in danger, right? The guy was just standing out, sitting out front. He wasn't doing anything. There was no reason for them to pick at him like that. If he came in the store, then you call or whatever. But there was no reason. He wasn't doing anything. I mean, this was during public hours, you know. He wasn't panhandling. I mean, there's seating out there, right? It wasn't like he was loitering after hours when the store was closed. Nothing like that. He wasn't begging for anything, other than his appearance. There was nothing out of the ordinary. This guy sitting outside, right? And then he comes in and he's like yelling at her, he's going to kill her. I'm like, oh, okay. So you guys made this problem. You made this situation. And so she and I went back and forth, and I went out and got in my car, and I'm sitting there. I'm like, it just didn't sit right. So I called and asked to speak with the manager, and I came back in and talked to him, and I explained to this guy what I saw happen and why. I'm like, she put everybody in danger in this store, you know? And he's like, that guy in particular, he's like, I've helped him out before. We've you know, given him stuff, whatever. I'm like, well, that's why he keeps coming around. I said, because you keep giving him stuff. Um, I said, but what she did wasn't put everybody in danger. And he's like, oh, I know. I said, and then on top of it, she was very disrespectful to me. And so her name's Rosa. Um, not the Rosa that has the business next to me. It's a different Rosa. So that's why I don't go in there, because of that woman that works there. That's why I don't shop there. And I used to shop there all the time. And I met the owner the one time. I was out in the parking lot, and he came out and he's like, "You help me pay my rent every month," because I'd go in every 2 weeks and I'd do my shopping. But that's why I don't shop there anymore, because his staff was so obnoxious. But when we went in yesterday, none of the people who were rude to me were there. None of them. And not all of there were a lot of people who I didn't recognize from last time I was there, or last when I used to be there regularly, but there were a lot of people who were. So I don't know if it was just rude staff's day off or what, but it was not too bad of a shopping experience. Wasn't too bad, no. And I got my bulk herbs, so I can make my medicines, make my. I have to get some vodka so I can make some tincture out of some of those herbs that I got. What is this? I got this like mother. Oh my god. Yeah. So got a bunch of herbs to replenish my fall/winter apothecary, and I need to make some salves. I do. I need to make some salves. Oh, I've had this thing on my face, on my nose, itchy, itchy. Figured out yesterday what it was. I said to Omar. So when we were standing in line at the grocery store, I'm like, I know my face has been itching. He's like, why? I said, because I've been eating grape Laffy Taffy. I have been. For Halloween, I got grape Laffy Taffy, and I've been eating it instead of passing it out. So I need to pass it out. I can't eat that shit. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. People shouldn't eat it. But I can't eat it. The dyes and everything. I'm so allergic to like everything that's in it, and I've been eating it. He's like, when have you been eating grape Laffy Taffy? I'm like, every day. He's like, well, no wonder. He's like, Larissa. He- he's like, that's like if you were sticking your hands in fire. Like, ooh, my hands are burning. What's wrong? Yeah, that's totally what it's like. I mean, for me, I mean, eating that shit. Been eating the evil candies. So I didn't have any grape Laffy Taffy yesterday. Yeah, yeah. Stay away from the grape Laffy Taffy, Laura, so you can't have it. It's not funny. Makes your face itch. Totally. And I can't eat that shit. Now, there's some dyes and stuff, like, if I eat them, I get sores in my mouth. Yeah. My body is really, 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 really sensitive. MSG, artificial dyes, even some of the natural dyes, like red number 40. I mean, red number 40 is made out of bugs, and that one's, like, the worst. I bet you there's red number 40 in that grape Laffy Taffy. I bet there is. I bet whatever makes up the purple has red in it. But it's red number 40. I bet it is. Yeah. Yeah. So yesterday, after we got back, and I packaged up all my herbs and things that I got, um, I mixed up some bread dough. I made a whole wheat spelt focaccia, and then I made a pumpernickel rye. It was pumpernickel flour. It was labeled as pumpernickel flour. Now, pumpernickel to me is that really, really, really dark, dark brown bread, and I'm not sure. I think that has molasses. I think that bread must have strap molasses in it. I might try that. I might pick up some strap molasses and try putting that into the dough because it's also sweeter. Like that pumpernickel loaf is usually sweeter. So I didn't put strap molasses or even brown sugar. I put a little bit of sugar in my starter, um, but not a lot. Um, but I seeded it. It's a full caraway loaf. So it came out really, really, really nice. It got nice and big and round, and so um, Omar got himself all kinds of lunch meat to be able to make himself some nice sandwiches. And I'm gonna make a coleslaw, and he got some corned beef, so he can do a corned beef coleslaw sandwich on the rye. That'll be good. And I got some nice spicy mustard in the refrigerator. Mm. Yeah, and I made noodles yesterday. So, because I got all these I bought a bunch of different flours for baking. Um, and I need to get a new muffin tin. My muffin tin was a mess. I looked at it. I'm like, why is that muffin tin all rusty like that? Once it's rusty, you can't use it anymore. Yeah. So I need to go get me a new muffin tin. But I need to use up my semolina flour because I needed the container that the semolina was in. And there was just enough semolina flour to make one batch of dough. I'm not crazy about semolina pasta dough. I'm not. It's always al dente. Like no matter how much you cook it. And like I like my pasta to be somewhat al dente, but this was like I don't know. I prefer making pasta out of the durum wheat. Durum wheat pasta. Yeah, I do. I prefer that. They had buckwheat flour too, and I was like, oh, I should do that and try making some buckwheat noodles. I should make some buckwheat noodles. Make some buckwheat pancakes. Anyway, buckwheat is kind of a sweet flour. Some people are super allergic to it. Yeah. It is not indigenous to Japan. No, it's not. It's technically invasive in Japan. Yeah. 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 Mm. Yeah, but I made noodles. It was like I hand cut the noodles. I didn't get out my pasta machine. Maybe it would have been better if I'd gotten out my pasta machine and been able to roll it even thinner. I rolled it thin enough that I could see through it, like it was translucent, but they weren't thin. But I hand cut the noodles. I floured either side of the dough and rolled it and then cut the noodles. They were like, I don't know, quarter inch, quarter inch, half inch, quarter inch to half inch thick noodles, wide noodles. And yeah, the sauce was real nice. They had the massalan, uh, tomatoes, and I chopped those up and made a nice fresh sauce. Oh my God, it was so good, so good. There's some left over. I'll probably eat that for lunch today. I think there's quite enough left to have for dinner, but two small lunch portions for him. So I'll make something else tonight. I'll probably make the coleslaw tonight so he can make those sandwiches. Oh, yeah. 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 Prepping food. Prepping food. I can't believe I finished that novel, and it's been messing with me. The story's been messing with me, and like yesterday, just thinking back. So the new novel involves somebody having a stroke, and that's that's what's been messing with me. Like when I've been thinking back, like to the time when my grandma had her stroke and stuff, because this book is in no way about my family, or it's pure fiction, but that experience has definitely informed the book itself, informed the story. And so I was like writing that. I guess I needed to process that. This time of year is when my grandfather and grandmother both died. No, my grandma Rose, she died on the Feast of Our Lady of Guadalupe. She died on December 12th, around the same time as my father-in-law. He was either on the 10th or the 12th. Um, but my Auntie, my mom, my papper, and my pappers, and I think my pappy as well, all died in October. Yeah, yeah. Pappy might have been in December. I don't think it was though. I think it was October. I can't remember. I can't remember. All I know is that my family was obnoxious at all of the funerals to me personally. And um after my grandma Rose's funeral, like I have zero desire to go back and see any of them. Um yeah, yeah. Anyway, writing that book really brought some stuff up, and I had to think about it and look at it and be like, "Oh, okay." I guess it's brought me some perspective and some he's down there. He's freaking out. He's having a freak out. He does this every time. I don't know if you can hear. He's being all growly, snarly, and he comes in from doing the chickens in the morning. He's always like, "Arr, arr, arr, arr." He runs around in a circle and he chases his tail and has a fit. Just he's still down there doing it, growling and snarling. He's got himself all worked up. It sounds like Omar's playing with him. It sounds like he's throwing something for him, or maybe he's flipping around. Sometimes he'll pick up a toy and he'll just flip it around, play with himself. He's funny. Mm, yeah, yeah. So like I was saying, it wasn't that I needed clarity. I don't feel like there was no aha kind of thing, but it was just kind of like, oh, good reminder. Yeah, that's the perspective. That's where that was and what that was all about. And yeah, the other thing when I was back there after my grandma had her stroke, and after the whole incident with Greg and Sharon and stuff, I took my cousin, their son, out for dinner. He's young. He's much younger than me. He was real young then. He was still in high school at that time. And I told him, I said, "Look," I said, "you're allowed to have your own life." Because, like, his dad was hanging out with him and kids his age. And then because my uncle's, an adult, my uncle has some special needs, and I just told my cousin, I said, you are not responsible for your father's happiness or for your father. Like, you're not responsible for that. You're allowed to go off and have your own life. You don't have to make choices to be his friend, you know? Um, you're not, it's not appropriate anyway, but it's just like, that's your mom's job, right? He's supposed to have her. The problem is that she used him as a meal ticket. Because my uncle is disabled, he gets disability, right? Or and she doesn't work. She doesn't, and there's like loophole where if you're in school, then you don't have to. So she was taking college classes, but never graduating with anything, just kept perpetually going to school because then that like affected their payment. They got more or something. And it's like, get a job already, or do something, be a partner to your spouse. But it was just I don't know. I'm so glad to not be part of any of that. But she was mad because I told him that, and her son that he could do something else, right? Ugh. Anyway, and she was always demanding money from my grandparents and from other people in the family, as if that was anybody else's responsibility to do that, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. I remember when I was in middle school when they got married and I sang in their wedding, but like it was a big family controversy that he was getting married at all. And my he went to a special school. He did, he was special ed. Like, he was in high school. My uncle was in high school when I was a little girl. Um, and he lived with my parents for a period of time when they first got married. He lived with my parents for a while. Um, so did my aunt. My aunt lived with my parents. My aunt lived with us when I was alive. After I was born, my aunt lived with us for a while. Um, she lived with us. She was living with us when we had the fire. But like when my uncle got when he got engaged, it was a bit of a controversy in the family because people were like he shouldn't be getting married. Um, or because he was still my grandma was still taking care of him like like a child. I remember being really little and being over at my grandparents' house and getting in the car with my grandma to go drive around to look for Greg and driving through the woods, the backwoods out there in Pennsylvania, looking for Greg, and like she'd get a call from the school from Sunrise saying, he took off angry because he had anger issues, and um, then we'd have to go looking for him, or it was I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, when people in the family were trying to direct them or guide them into helping to find a group home for him to live in at that time. And then he got engaged and got married. It was like right out of high school. They went to high school together. Yeah, they went to it was a special ed school. I don't know, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. All I know is that she did not like me after all that, and I'm glad not to live back there, and I'm glad not to be part of any of it. Because it's like anytime you go back, it's always what's the drama with Greg, and it's always Greg and Sharon, and it's always about some, needing a new car because the transmission's burnt out, and fighting for, trying to get money for a new car. We're not buying you a new car. You destroyed the other one, right? Yeah, yeah. And I guess there was some other legal problems, and I guess he was stalking some girl for a while. I don't know. I was just like, what? Like, I don't want anything to do with that. It sucks to be stalked. I've dealt with it. I've been dealing with it for years. So, like, I don't have any sympathy for that. I don't have any sympathy for that stalking. That is ridiculous behavior. It's sick behavior. Yeah. Anyway. Both sides of my family has a little bit of that goofiness, like my mom's family. I got a cousin on that side that has been to prison and stuff that he's been involved in. I'm just like, I don't want anything to do with you or your kids anymore. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have kids. I'm glad. I'm glad. Oh my god. So today, finish up some laundry, go to the gallery, do some work. Yeah, see how that. Maybe I'll start prepping that surface today. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. And a little bit later on, do some work on my website. Yeah, I think I will. I think I'll do some work on my website. Anyway. Anyway. Anyway.